United States in order to form a more perfect union. Stop pretending that you've never been bad. You're never wrong and you've never been dirty. You're such a saint. That ain't the way we see you. You are rulers with an iron hand. You change the lyrics and become Big Brother. This ain't Russia. You ain't my dad or mother. They never knew anyway. 'Cause I never walk away from what I know is right. But I'm gonna turn my back on you. Freedom, we're gonna ring the bell. Freedom to rock, freedom to talk. Freedom, raise your fist and yell. Freedom to rock, freedom to talk. Freedom. God from your average town. Back off, preacher, I don't care if it's Sunday. I ain't no angel, but I never felt better. We're a makeup never generation. We're not as stupid as you want to make us. You better leave us, man, 'cause you sure can't take us. Nobody better tell you how to live your life. All you gotta do it on your own. Freedom, we're gonna ring a bell. Freedom to rock, freedom to talk. Freedom, raise your fist and yell. Freedom to rock, freedom to talk. Cause I never walk away from what I know is right. But I'm gonna turn my back on you. Freedom, we're gonna ring the bell. Freedom to rock, freedom to talk. Freedom, raise your fist and yell. Freedom, we're gonna ring the bell. Freedom to rock, freedom to talk. Freedom, raise your fist and yell. Freedom, we're gonna ring that bell. Freedom to rock, freedom to talk. Freedom, come on, raise your fist and yell. Come on, yell. Come on, yell. Freedom to rock, freedom to talk. Freedom, raise your fist, raise your fist, raise your fist. Doors. We're all waiting for our next big one to open.
Fucking
What's behind door number? This place called USA. For all the ride I give my life. This place called USA.
Howdy, chat. What's up? It does look really dark in here. I see Sherry got the booby prize today. I'm gonna have to figure out what kind of music Sherry likes. I, the reason that the chat said, or the reason that this stream is called Chat Stream Tonight is because Connie is. I know I've been slacking a lot. Am I glitchy? Is it glitchy, Wasp? I feel like it is because it's taken forever for anything to wind down. I think I'm gonna have to tell Marvin to shut off his iPad. Damn. Hey, Wes. So the subject is basically gonna be whatever chat picked. What y'all are interested in. I know it sounds like I'm winging it. I am. So I'll start off by at least saying hey to everybody. And then I'll give you all my low-down, stupid excuses as to. Okay, maybe I need to. Okay, first, let me post the link and get some of here. Okay, so quiet time is over here. Maybe. So I let's say hey to everybody because as you can see, I'm scattered. Okay. That maybe we'll come back to that. Okay. That hopefully things pick up here. So Sherry, hey, you and your booby. And Justine, I read your comment and I hope you get to feeling better. It's kind of scary when you go to the hospital. I mean, it's scary because you're obviously there's a reason you're going to the hospital, but then you get to the hospital and you got to worry about what the hell they're going to do to you. Or at least that's my biggest fear. Look at those bags. Mishka, howdy, ma'am. Justine, I hope you get to feeling better. And Amanda, how are ya? And who else? Mick, howdy. And Wesley. Where's my looking glass? And who else? Who else is with us? Arby. And Sugar Britches. And who else? Fly. Look at you. What? This better be good. I just turned Rakita off to turn you on. Oh, well, hell, it's going to be good now if you come here to turn me on. Hell, that's now I'm into it. Now I'm glad I showed up tonight. Thank you, Fly. Woohoo. Oh, Arby, you would love the hospital, you little freak. Not me. I hate going to the hospital. Sorry, that was uncalled for. It kind of was uncalled for. Yeah, Fly, please come on. And they will get interesting if you come on. Because did you see what I wrote? It's like, you guys are, it's you guys. Okay? And Fly, you ain't been on since like when you bailed me out the first time. Yeah, jump on it, Fly. Come jump on it. Um, so let me go back through here. Did I miss anybody yet? I don't think I did. I think I'm still caught up. So it's pretty obvious that this channel has become like it used to be like more guys, and I bet you that if I look at the stats now, it shows that it's more women than men coming to the streams. Tony. So my big excuse. I got a kidney infection. And some of a bitch, I thought it was going to kill me. I know it's TMI, but some of a bitch about killed me. So just to say, at least been drinking loads of water so much that I'm now addicted to it. And I'm trying to watch my coffee intake. And we got the roof put on our house because Marvin finally went, you know what? He tore off the whole roof and then they put one on. So I don't know. My back hurts on one side, Wasp. It's not completely healed up yet. And yeah, I'm cranberry juicing it up like nobody's business, Sherry. I'm telling you. And I always have, but I don't do strict cranberry. I do cran grape because I don't like just cranberry. Last Saturday night at Rick's, I asked Chief Smoke a Lot where he's been on Tuesday nights, but he didn't answer. I know. I mean, whatever. Maybe it'll be changed to a bitches channel. We'll just have a few of the guys like Fly and Tony and make, a few of them that come in here and give a shit, Bobby. Which I don't care. Fuck it. Fuck chested female, we've been missing you. You've been gone. We haven't seen you in for like weeks. I'm glad you're here. And I hope all is well. No, it didn't burn when I farted. No, I don't think you're right there, Tony, but I pinched a nerve in my back or something too on the boat. Ow. Some men. Well, Fly, yours is probably because you work like 24/7. I mean, Chief, we were just talking shit about you. That's how come you showed up, huh? Your ears were ringing. Hospitals and doctors and nurses are good. I don't know why I'm not putting this shit on the screen. For saving your life. If you're sick or injured. You stand, yeah. Sometimes they're good for that. Who knows what they're doing to you when they take you in there, though, when you go in because you need help. Like when your finger, you cut your tendon along with the major, whatever that vein is right there that runs on the top. Fucked up my flip off finger. It's okay. I practice to make that bitch straight again. It's just not like that, but at least I can get her straight. So, I gotta say, Rick's live the other night. That was a bit. I missed it because that was my other excuse that I was gonna point out because I hate fucking excuses. But um, we went to a friend's house who had a really nice pool, and it was about 98 degrees here, so we were really glad that we we went there. Plus, it was really good to catch up with people that we haven't caught up with in a very long time. Um, so it was really cool. It's kind of cool when you catch up with people that you haven't heard from in a really long time, and then like you start to realize how much you had in common, and you even have way more in common now, even though some things have changed that you did have in common before, but those things have changed. Like they still smoke and I don't. Um, but it was kind of cool to just catch up with her and then meet her new significant other, who is just one rock solid guy, let me tell you. Um, he's a pretty cool dude. So, yeah. And he's like perfect for her in some weird way. Anyway, but yeah, it was kind of cool catching up with people that we hadn't heard from in 25 years. And Bobby's late. I don't know where he is. You were busy on the boat pulling your see. See, you got as many excuses as I do. People are gonna start to talk, Fly. They're gonna wonder, like, we have excuses for the same nights. What day did you pull your back? I'm scared now. Now people are really we're gonna get the rumors going. Anyways. Are you serious, Amanda? You lucky hag. It's not fair. Did I see some medical advice from our PA? Did I see that? RB, where'd you go? This is on preventive measures. Major downfall. I agree. Like, how about we teach us how to eat right again and all that kind of shit? Because all this other shit ain't gonna work if we don't figure out how to do that. Because those double quarter pounders with cheese, they ain't very good for you. So you did your Sunday, Fly? Well, maybe you gave me the bladder infection. I'm being funny. Just ha ha joker. Okay. You know, Mishka, I went on and looked at all the YouTube information on being demonetized, and I got to tell you that where I forgot to mention this to him. Well, actually, I didn't forget to. I didn't look it up until after I talked to him, but I think it's coming from him critiquing other people's videos. That's what I think. That's what I think they're getting him on, and that's why I think they just went yank without ever even saying why, who, what. They just did it. Yeah, we do. We need to teach them how not to eat. I agree. We should start with me. Please. However, if you get a kidney infection, you can drop 10 pounds real quick. Real quick. It doesn't do much for anything else, but you send it to feedback anyways. I didn't go through and send anything. Well, because I kind of wanted to talk with Rick about it after I read all the shit I read about it. Because I'm sure, I mean, I don't, being monetized for me isn't a big thing. So, I mean, I'm sure it would be if I was already making $1,000 a month on it. I'd be really pissed if you yanked the rug out from underneath me. But if I'm standing on a gold floor, I ain't got no rug there anyway. Exactly, Arby. I'm thinking that we're doing this wrong. Like, our steps are supposed to be more than our calories. Yeah. Yeah, our gas never went down. I swear, we've been paying. It's like nuts here. Let me look and see what it is. I cringe every time I have to go. Sugar britches? No, it doesn't cover his ass. In fact, if you go through and you watch the whole read all the shit about the all that whole thing, if you go through and read through there, it talks specifically about just because you post that there's a disclaimer there for such and such, that don't cover your ass. That doesn't mean you're covered at all. In fact, it's not even YouTube basically that, like, here's the deal. Nothing ever really gets handled unless you actually sued them, is kind of how they put it. But unless you sued whoever it was that wanted you to not, like, that wanted your video demonetized. So you actually have to go through the court of law to do that, is how YouTube puts it. They kind of put it off on the courts, but it's obvious that YouTube is still making the decisions to do whatever the fuck they want, like demonetize his whole channel, which is just bullshit. I think it's different. Rick does get on there and he literally critiques the videos. He doesn't just get on there and say, you're a stupid fucking woman who don't know how to handle a horse. He does critique it in a very educational way. So he is changing it all, which is part of what YouTube says you have to do if you're going to restream somebody's video. If you're going to, put somebody's video up, you have to be able to change it in a way that makes it more educational, or you get more out of it, or whatever. So that's what I got out of it, but I could totally read it wrong because you see, I can't even talk. Okay. Yes, that's what we're looking for. So yeah, we are at 475, where we've basically been for a year. Oh, well, I guess we do. No, I take that back. Ours at Freddy's is 449. But that's about what it's, I mean, it fluctuates a little bit, but not a whole lot. We've never gone down to, everybody else was like, oh, we're down to 3. We know, fuck, we didn't see 3 at all. Well, I don't know. He may be able to. I didn't read the end of your comment till now, Sugar Britches, but I I don't know how easy that is. I mean, I know he's appealed them before, but the problem with this is different. There's no strike to begin with, so it's not like you. There's not a video to appeal. There's no place to do that, so it's a little different this time. I mean, like, they just literally yanked the whole channel. They didn't give him nothing, no warning, no nothing, no, you got to strike, no, you got to copyright, no, nothing. Just yank it. Here you go. Here's an email to tell you you're demonetized, and that's it. So I think it's a little more difficult, and I think he's kind of frustrated. I don't know, because I'm putting words in his mouth. I don't know that part, but I'm fairly certain he's frustrated. So that's where we are with that. You have a lunatic sister-in-law who's vegan, but she eats fish. She always looks sickly. I like eating steak in front of her. Oh, hell yeah. And I'd make sure it was as bloody as it could be. Like, almost to the point that I don't like it, but I do it just the same. Because that's salt in the wound, and I'm all about it. Yeah, you put a bunch of numbers in there. You just lost me. My big deal is I just need to know you don't get to eat carbs anymore. So yeah, I know. Bobby's gonna say some kind of carb rotation bullshit. Uh, I used to be able to do that. I used to just eat once a day, but I also used to smoke cigarettes. So I want whatever's in the cigarette that makes people stay skinny. Why can't they turn that shit into a pill form that you can just take? It's not the nicotine. It's not the bad part. There's something in it that makes to suppress your appetite. Arby, I'm sure you've got some great name for it. But anyways, what the fuck? Take that. I'll take those pills. I will never go off of a carnivore diet. There's no way. Okay. So I posted the link, right? And I pinned it. So it's up there. And I've been talking to myself now for 38 minutes, which is fine. I'm standing in my kitchen doing my dishes and being irritated about shit. It's not fine here because all these other people are seeing this. Well, not all, but all 22 of you. And nobody's fucking coming on. It was his horse channel. It was a barn witches. Changed my mind. You could be freaking totally right. Those cunts. Bobby! Bobby's saving the day because you fuckers won't.
Fuck you. Fuck you irritated about? This is
Because
my bus.
nobody would come on, and you did.
There you go, my bus.
You got your bus.
It's a whole ass bus. Anybody want this bus?
It's a bus.
It's a bus. Anybody want
That's
my
an
bus?
RV. That's an RV.
I just moved to my RV. No, my RV is 32 foot. It's a
Oh, that
bus.
is a bus. Okay, I see.
It's a fucking bus.
It is a bus with all them windows.
It's a fabulous bus. My little brother just opened a an LLC, so I've been looking for the title so we can put it on the road for him for a work truck.
Mishka, you gotta put your you gotta do your audio
Hey
so that
all.
I can add you to the screen. So you're working on your rigs? Is that what you're doing?
I had to move my RV. All right. Rule number 1 of buying an RV: make sure you got a place to fucking park it where nobody's gonna bitch at you.
I know. I already got one. My son already knows it, and I take care of his child, and I gave birth to him, so he knows better than to ever bitch at me about it because I would take his little balls off for him. So that's not an issue. I already got a place for it.
Yeah,
What
that's
next?
been my issue. I had to keep moving a bitch, and it's a big bitch to move. I want to go camping in it already.
In our homeowners association, we have like an RV lot, but they want to charge you. I think it was like $35 a month before, and now it's like $100 a month. I'm like, for to put it in a gated area instead of me just being able to park it right out here beside my house.
Yeah, but that's a good deal. That's the deal that I've been hunting for was $100 a month. That's only $25 a week. Most places like I was looking at one of the spots to store it for the summer. They wanted $1,000 for 2 months.
You should see my yard, though. I have a side yard that's huge. I have more than enough room to be able to park that motherfucker there, and they won't let me.
What do you mean they won't let you?
Hey, how's it going?
Mishka, what's up?
Nothing much.
Good.
You're always in New York, Bobby. You never stop by.
Yeah, I
Kidding.
haven't been to the city since I changed jobs. I haven't. And normally I went through the city. I'll come see you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
you're in Brooklyn, right? Brooklyn.
Yep, Brooklyn.
All right, I'll give you a shout one of these days. I'll come out, meet you in Cadman Plaza.
Oh, that's right by my house.
I know. I don't know. I'm not stalking you or nothing.
Oh, please. I already have one of those. That's why I'm under Mishka.
Yeah, you ain't getting to know her real name.
No, Cadman Plaza is kind of right in the middle of everything. It's right off
Yeah.
the BQE, so
Mhm.
that's a good area over there. I used to work on Court Street. It's got one of my favorite salad bars.
I live in Carroll Gardens. Court Street is like 5 houses up the block.
Oh shit! That was working right in your backyard all these years.
Yeah, I know.
God bless you.
That's why I kept saying, stop it.
You got a car?
No,
Thank God. That fucking area is not friendly for cars.
no, it's not.
No.
Really?
Here, kids, no parking. I used to park and walk for blocks.
And then the worst thing, I don't know if but Bobby would know. We had these things called city bikes.
Yeah, they took
people-
up like half the fucking parking
No.
spots.
So listen to this. The Manhattan people, which we can't stand, they drive their car into my neighborhood, park their car, and get on the city bike to go
fuck.
down to the promenade.
So they're stealing Brooklyn parking and city biking over the bridge?
Well, where the promenade is, where everybody looks across to New York.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Brooklyn's beautiful as much as it's fucked up.
Mhm.
That's too many fucking people. Just way
Everybody
too
say hi to
many.
Anthony.
Hi, Anthony.
Hi,
Hey.
Anthony.
He's barbecuing. I didn't catch you. You don't want to be on camera.
We didn't see you.
They didn't see you. He's a little rough around the feathers, him.
Oh.
Yeah. My little brother. I think we
That's-
tainted him a bit.
What's wrong with he don't want to be on camera? It's your little brother, really?
He's like, I don't do that. Yeah.
Oh, he's one of those.
He said, don't do that. I don't do that. I don't want to do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. I don't want to do that. Who gets his deal? I don't blame him.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. When he comes out to one of our big ass bash and meetups and he meets everybody. He's too
Then
cool
he'll-
for school, though.
Then he'd change his mind.
What the hell is this? Like all the people you told to fuck off a few months ago, you know?
Yeah, no. You're scared to let him see you. Of course. Tony says, I get it, Anthony. Of course. And Anthony
Fuck you,
gets
Tony.
it.
Fuck you, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony no shows.
Tony.
Well, hang on a second. I'm gonna make my way up to my room. I'll be back on in a minute. I'm just getting home from moving the RV. I heard you were irritated. Somebody told me you were looking for me. Am I here, motherfucker?
Hey,
Oh, she
I didn't
almost-
see you say anything.
Gutter almost put a contract out on you.
No shit, man. I was gonna get your ass.
You skipped school Saturday. I stayed home and was there for the whole live.
I know. I was out. I went to dinner
He
at a
was
friend. I
fraternizing.
never do that.
Fraternizing.
I was fraternizing. It was a super nice pool. These people built this whole pool themselves, and it is so nice. It was gorgeous.
Getting all these goddamn Discord notifications. Who even goes on Discord anymore?
Not you.
I do. I've been popping in. Hell yeah. And I'll be on the call tonight. But let me run for a minute. I'll be back.
Okay.
All right. Get that
Okay.
rant ticker ready, huh? There's some shit going on. What the fuck's going on? Indictments 3 and 4 coming down. Oh boy.
Yes. I
Lock
thought
and
I said
load.
something about that.
But I'll let you and Mishka take the wheel for a bit. I'll
Okay.
catch you guys in a minute.
It looks like we have people to say hi to. I think Donna showed up.
Hey, hey, everybody. I can't see the comments
Hey,
right now.
Donna.
And Austin.
Yeah, Tony,
Austin-
get in that butt, Tony.
I
Get
have
in
a
that butt.
I have a
Hold in that
question.
butt.
You can't see the chat when you're on this?
I brought it up now.
Oh, okay. Because I can't see the chat. I see you guys.
If you hit chat and then hit comments, it'll go over the screen, so you won't see me or Gutter. But you'll see nothing but the chat rolling.
Oh, because you're on your phone?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
I see.
All right, catch you guys in a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, so if I'm on my computer, then I
Stay
probably
awesome.
do
Get
it.
those ratings up. Hit that like button, people.
Okay, we'll see in a minute. Austin, did you get unblocked from Rick's channel? I know. So, yes, absolutely, 100%. Nice, Nico and Nick's. What's that? I don't even know what that means. Is who did 9/11? Well, I think somebody was trying to get you unblocked. They were gonna. Was it? I think Sugar Riches was working on it. Somebody was. So, yeah, hopefully they get you unblocked. And Missy, I don't know. She doesn't come here anymore. I guess she was coming for Yank, not for me. Because she never shows up anymore. She's only came like once since Yank left. But maybe, she's got shit to do. I just give her shit and tell her that it's...
Did she move to Florida yet? She might be busy with that.
Yeah, I don't know. She could be. She hasn't said anything, so I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. So, still thunderstorming here in Brooklyn. So I ran out. I had to harvest some of my garden, my squashes and zucchinis, and some beans that we're canning.
My stuff is really late. It's still struggling along. Marvin does this thing where he decides that he wants peas, and so he plants them all the way around my garden. But like it wants to take over like my pepper plants and that sort of thing. It's kind of a pain. My son's calling me. I think he forgot that it was Tuesday night. So I'll text him so he knows. So yeah. I'm not sure about my garden, if it's gonna come through or because like I said, the peas just take over like my pepper plants completely. I'm just like, dude. I mean, the tomatoes don't seem to mind it, because they kind of climb up the tomato cage. But man, my pepper plants are not liking it. Not my green peppers or my jalapeno peppers.
Garden. And it's funny when you see the beans growing up next to the pears into the tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, boy, my grandson, Marvin fed him peas out of the garden the other day. Oh my gosh, he loved those. He thought those were just the greatest thing. He was wanting handfuls of them. Like he didn't like the fact that he could only pick up one, grab one out at a time. Hi, Kate. So yeah. Anyways, so you're just trying to weather the storm there?
Yes. And fighting with the real Mishka to go outside, because when huskies get wet, it's not pretty.
Yeah. No.
They have that double coat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. We just finished our roof last night, and the guy down the street, he has a husky, and him and his son are always taking him for runs, and they'll even ride a bike and go with him, and that dog will run for hours.
Yes.
And he stopped by last night, and he was on his 10-speed, but he didn't have the bike with it or the dog with him, and he said no. He said the son had the dog and was out running with him, but that dog will go for hours, like just nonstop running. Like he'll not stop unless you make him stop.
Yeah.
I grew up with a husky, and he was my stepdad's parents, and they would hook him up to a sled, and he would drag us through the snow. Oh my gosh. His name was Chico. Oh my gosh. He was the neatest dog. He was so much fun.
Yeah, I got Mishka. She can drag a sled. And
nice.
Well, it's really good too when I'm walking down Court Street. I have this little sled cart, and I could put groceries on it.
Nice.
And I get a weird reaction. Either some people are like, "Oh, that's so cute," and other people are in horror, like they should call the ASPCA on me. I'm like, she's a working dog, folks.
Yeah. She's bred for it.
Yeah,
that's what she
yeah,
does.
Yeah, I wish I had her life.
Yeah. My daughter is a red heeler. I'm telling you what, that dog will do like 47,000 figure eights, the biggest figure eights you ever seen. And she is so fast, you can't stop her. Mm-hmm. And she'll do it for as long as you'll let her. And I know the neighbors, like there's one neighbor I know, she kind of looks at her and thinks, you guys are just letting her run too much. It's not good for her. It's like, really? This is what the dog wants to do. She wants to run. She is a red heeler. She's a working dog. That's what they were They were, you know, that's
Mhm.
all she's ever known before she came into the city. So,
Mhm.
geez.
We were talking today, with all this crap that's going on in the world. It just seems like a lot of people feel like they have the right to comment to you. And for instance, my nephew was having his tonsils taken out, and we're in the city hospital. And my sister, his mother, was like, "Can you tell me where the ladies' room is?" And this person turned around and said, "Excuse me?" And she was like, "The ladies' room." Now, first of all, you could see my sister. She's of a certain age, and not that that should be an excuse, but he corrected her. And he was like, "Oh, the non-gender bathroom?" It was like, she's upstairs. Her son is under anesthesia. And I know it's just for tonsils, but Gutter, you're a mom. I'm sure you know how you feel. See, and this is why I would get locked up. Like, my sister will just turn and just go like idiot under her breath. This
Oh,
is
yeah,
when
no.
I start saying things, and that's why I will either get shot or shoot somebody someday.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I have to say something. I have
yeah.
to, like, who gives you the right to correct me? First of all, she said, "Please, can you tell me?" You
And
know?
it shouldn't have mattered.
Right,
It shouldn't have mattered one way or the
hmm
other. You knew what she meant. There was no reason to clarify your bullshit
right.
except for you,
But it's with
your
all walks
own
of life.
weird.
My friend has one of those miniature, I don't know, it's like the size of my hand dogs. And she got a hot roll from the bakery. That's what we do in Brooklyn Sunday morning. We go for our bread and we get a hot roll with butter and walk down Court Street with our coffee and everything. And so she gave her dog a little piece, and somebody was like, "Should you be giving him bread?" Like, I wasn't even talking to you. Like,
No
just,
shit.
and that's what we were all talking about. Like, and we stay silent. And I think that's half our side's the problem,
It is the problem.
because basically we should have said, "Go fuck yourself," excuse
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah, my response to that person when
mhm,
they would have said, "Are you giving your dog bread?"
yeah,
I would have said, "Are you talking to me? Are
right.
are you talking to me? Because
Hmm. Hmm.
now we're gonna have issues."
Yeah, and I was looking at the differences, and it's that they just we don't stand up for ourselves. We don't correct them, you know.
Mm-mm.
I know you and I would say something like you said, like, "Excuse me, you talking to me?"
Yeah.
And I, but I don't know how to deal with it. Do you turn into them? Do you silently do stuff? Like, I'm kind of lost.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. It definitely makes it um a little rough even to go anywhere unless you're willing. You're either you're willing to take the wrath of speaking your mind,
Mhm,
or you're willing to shut the hell up because um and I think that's part of I do think that's a huge part of the problem is
mhm,
we've always just set it aside and what the fuck ever, and went on about our day, when in reality we really needed to stand up to these people because now they're completely out of fucking control.
right. So, one day at a time, I guess.
Yeah, well, and I think the biggest thing is us, doing things like even these live streams where we don't give up and we stand up and go,
Mhm.
"I don't care. You can censor us all you want.
Yeah, right.
You can cancel this channel and somebody else is just going to start up another one and then we'll
Right,
follow." And I mean,
right.
you can, however you want to do that, you can knock
Mhm.
yourself out with it, but we're still going to find a way. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
censoring us isn't going to
one
work.
one way or another, this group will find each other again, no
Well, and
matter
I
who they
think
shut down.
like-minded people will as well because they're
Yes.
to the point where they're starting to realize that
Mhm.
if we don't band together and start
Mhm.
standing up, we aren't going to
Mhm.
have we are going to be fucking China.
Yeah. But the pendulum is swinging back a little, because Trudeau today was saying that the Muslim community in Canada are listening to our right wing rhetoric and because of the trans community and everything else like that. First of all, he's an idiot because if you know anything about the Muslim religion, they were against trans. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's their beliefs. So they didn't need to listen to us right winged Americans,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the head of Canada, like
Yeah.
we get blamed for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it seems more, and I think what happened was it's more now the parents are coming out, which I'm very happy to. Like, they're like, wait a minute, like, you're telling my kid about sexual positions and he's in the first grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what started the pendulum coming back. Now, if it could self-correct, I don't know, but at least
Yeah.
it's a little something.
So far here, because I do keep a very close eye on it with my granddaughter being in junior high.
Mhm.
And so far there hasn't been anything like that. But I always, here's my daughter always takes my granddaughter, like if they have one of any classes that are that don't necessarily, like they had one class, it was something about sex education, but it wasn't like your normal sex education class. It sounded like it was a little to the left side, not really, but it like they were trying to swing that way or something. And so she just took her out. She just signed her out of it and said, no, she's not doing this
Mhm.
class. But here's the part that bothers me is when you're in a middle school, and all the kids went to that class, if you
Right.
think that they ain't getting out and telling her about everything and over, I mean, and not necessarily just running out and going, hey, this is what, we watched or seen but just in their talking and just in now their beliefs of watching that, what that can push off on to my granddaughter and
Yeah.
how it will change her beliefs. So that's what kind of frustrates me with the
Yes.
fact that they're, they are doing it. And most parents just don't give a shit. Here, they would just let them go through something like that. They'd, whatever. Yeah, they need to know this, that, and the other. I mean, it's just, I mean, oh, Marv and I were really, really strict about certain things. There's lots of things that we were maybe more lenient than other parents, but beliefs was big. Our
Yeah.
beliefs and what we believed, that was big. I mean, and we crammed it down our kids' throat, and thank God we did, because all three of them are not confused at all.
That's good.
At all. But I can't say that for a lot of kids that they were raised, that they went to school with.
Well, I have two separate friends, and both their daughters, I don't want to say it's a phase, I don't know, and stuff like that. They were having a lot of problems at home. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm not a girl anymore, I'm a boy. But then they got new friends and they were back to being a girl. So I'm like, is it really inside of you, or it's just you need to speak to a professional or something? Something's wrong and you're taking it out this way.
And a lot of parents would be like, okay, yeah, they went through this phase. See, you'd never hear that come out of my mouth. That would
No,
never be,
no.
my kids went through this phase. No, my kids did not. No, they fucking didn't. Because let me tell you what, we would grab a hold of the steering wheel and go, nope, that's not the way it goes. We're going this way, right over here, and this way you're going. This out is. I made it very known why I felt those would have been bad decisions. I
Right.
made it very clear that I felt like it was mentally, not like it was a mental health issue. I tried
Right.
to make sure they understood why there was no way in hell they were going down that road. And
My
they, you know,
Yeah, my sister was a tomboy to the 10th power.
Oh, yeah.
So if she would have been now, she's a mother with 3 kids. She preps and cans and all this stuff, but that's who she was when she was growing up. So if she was born now, well, my mother would have never put her in
See,
my
well, but they'd have rammed it down her throat
right,
at school. Every
right,
every place in society would have rammed that
yeah,
shit down her throat. It's the same way with I was a tomboy. I hung
yeah,
out with my boy cousins, and I
mhm,
mean we the I that's just the way it was. You just I
mhm,
mean and but you were still a girl, and they
right,
called you a girl, and they pushed you down in the dirt and
yep,
made you know you were a girl, and but we were still tomboys. We still got up and wiped
uh-huh,
our bloody nose and went on about our business. So I mean, I just think that it's just way out of hand,
mhm.
way out of hand.
I
And
wonder what's gonna. I wonder excuse me. I wonder what's gonna happen, like when these 11-year-olds that the families have put them on, puberty blockers and stuff, like when they hit their 20s and realize it's a mistake. Like, how do you undo that stuff? Like, I would look at my parents like, what did you do to me? You
Well,
know?
I mean, I don't know that there's any going back. I think that you're going to find that the health issues that fall along with whatever it was that they did while trying to change themselves, that
Mhm.
it's still going to affect them till their dying day, I would
Yeah,
assume. I mean, I can't imagine that just because you stop taking a certain medication that it's not going to hamper you. Like I feel like it changes your cycle of life through,
right.
you know, I mean, I'm sure Arby could explain that more than I could, but that's kind of how I see it. I mean, anything you put into your body, right, wrong, or indifferent, is going to change the
Mhm.
outcome of where you are in 20, 30, 50 years.
Yes. Hmm.
Wasp said, shit, be right back. What did you do, Wasp? Oh, here he comes. He's going to explain it right now. Howdy, sir.
Hello,
Hi,
ladies. How
RB.
are you?
Good. How are you?
Sorry, I was typing at Austin. I wasn't paying attention, but I heard my name. I mean, I can talk about what I was arguing with well, not arguing, discussing with him in the chat. But I heard my name, trans stuff. I assume.
Yeah. Well, about, yeah, how, whatever it is that they're taking or whatever they've done, like Mishka was talking about the change in the, or the fact that you're taking the puberty blockers and I know there's a difference between puberty blockers and what's the other one?
Cross-sex hormones. You're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. So I
Uh,
know there's a difference between one or the other, but still, you're not just going to go back to baseline once you take that shit.
No. Yeah,
Right.
puberty blockers, have long-term effects on development. You don't necessarily reach the same level of development as you would if you had never had them. In
Right.
theory, removing them does get you similar to where you were, but there are physical and changes that can't be undone.
Right.
Right. So I was saying the kids now that are like 11 years old and they're giving the parents, oh, yes, my kid is now the other gender. When these kids reach 20, 25, and maybe it's not what they wanted, to me, that's going to cause a whole new set of mental issues
Yeah,
because
100%. I mean,
you can't undo it. And you'll be like, what did my parents do to me? I was a
well,
kid.
not just that, but you don't have full brain development unless you go through puberty. So
Right.
you're taking people that are not actually like ever fully developing adult thought processes and expecting them to be adults. I think we're going to see a lot of these people basically be, neutered teenagers long into their adulthood once they reach that point. Look, it's not to say some people don't end up fine, and a lot of people that start this process as an adult,
don't end up fine per se in the long term with respect to their, mental function. But the reality is doing this stuff to kids is very much experimental. And there's a reason, like we talked about, a few weeks back, the Dutch and the Norwegian, the Swedes and the British, like they're all stopping all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you put a male on estrogen and they grow breasts, you ain't getting rid of those unless you do surgery.
Yeah.
If you do surgical interventions such as removing, portions of the body, you ain't coming back. Taking testicles off or something like that, that ain't coming back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the big thing I see is that you don't get the same extent of brain development, of cardiovascular development, things like that, which could be seriously detrimental to people in the long term from a health standpoint. I assume Austin is referring to John Money.
Magnus Hirschfeld.
Okay. Money was the major push for kind of this whole process in the U.S. Money and Kinsey. I get.
Wasn't the person's name Christine Jordan or something like that? Was like the first person to have the trans surgery.
I mean, I've been mostly looking into this with kids, so I can't say I have all this knowledge off the top of my head with adults. But no, it was obviously done long with adults before. I mean, in the 50s and 60s when Money was doing his research. Look, again, Austin. The reality is that so this plays off of Thomas Sowell and his writings in Black Rednecks and White Liberals. The reality is that when people came to exist in societies, they had to find a way to fit. This held true of Jews in Europe. This held true of of ethnic Chinese in Malaysia. When you have a society that has the academic and intellectual drive built into it historically through religion or culture, and they exist within a society that ostracizes them and keeps them separate, they ended up filling roles historically that were considered middleman roles. These were roles where you dealt with money, bankers. That's why this idea of Jews being bankers came from, because the Jews in Europe served those roles because the non-Jews were not interested in being part of that because they either weren't educated as a whole, they didn't have a high trust within them. The Jewish society had high trust within it and had education as a high directive. So they filled these academic roles, doctors, lawyers, government officials, things along those lines. The same thing happened in Southeast Asia with ethnic Chinese in Malaysia. It's not unique to Jews. It's happened in other populations as well. It happened in India with specific populations. The reality is that the type of culture you're going to represent is the culture that's passed down by your parents and by your community. So when Jews came to America, yes, you had a lot of Jews that were already wealthy that came from Europe. Talk about the Rothschilds, talk about the Koch family that already owned a lot of resources and things like that. When you live in a country like the United States that promises democracy, but is really a corporate haven where you can buy everything you want on a political level, and the people aren't actually as represented as they pretend we are, then you end up with the wealthy people that, maintain familial wealth and education in the elite. And that happens to have been a lot of Jews. But it doesn't necessarily mean that there is some conspiracy about Jews to protect Jews and insist that Jews are going to be successful or accomplish anything, or that America and its politics have been usurped to allow for the success of Jews to put down other people. Just because Epstein was Jewish ethnically and had a Jewish last name and is connected to a lot of people that are ethnically Jewish, none of these people have a lot of care or love for the Jewish people, for religious Judaism, even for Israel in a lot of ways, outside of the modern political obsession with Israel from the West. The reality is that the vast majority of Jews in America are just average people trying to get by. Yeah, you see a little bit higher representation in doctors and things like that because, again, there's a pathway built into the culture for education. And rather than trying to conspiracy theory a bunch of Jews and say that they're doing all these evil things to white Western, people because of the Jews, I think it's more realistic to look at the differences between the elite classes in this country and the normal people. I'm Jewish. I don't get shit. I have no control over the goddamn space laser. I have no control over the government. I don't get fucking shit. I'm a regular person like all the rest of us, just like the vast majority of Jews aren't. There's always going to be in-group preference. I don't think these people are sitting there going, Jews are the in-group and we're doing this for Jews. They're doing it for their own power. They're doing it to perpetuate their own, monetary wealth. And just like, people sit and look at the Biden crime family and the things that are going on within the Biden administration, or people on the left point to the Trump administration and talk about him trying to enrich himself, people that are in power want to stay in power. This is a historic reality that doesn't change no matter who's in charge.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's always about the money.
Sorry, I'm just saying, like, I don't know what your perspective, Austin, specifically is on the Jewish conspiracy, but I've listened to Fuentes. I've listened to a lot of these people on the right, and their idea of what a Jewish conspiracy is to basically paint these powerful elites as the Jewish people, which is not realistic in any way. That's why I feel the need to push back.
Fly.
I mean, I don't disagree with him. I mean, if you got some problem people, like, genocide them. Like, fuck it, why not? The Rwandans did it. Everybody's done it over history. I mean, goddamn. Like, all right. They were very efficient at it with the Jews. So if you want to genocide people, learn from the Nazis. No, but see, here's the thing, Austin. I know you're not saying it's all of them and that we could be friends and we probably agree on a lot. The reality is I could paint the same picture in a lot of countries about the elite classes. I think that the one thing Marxists and communists got right is that people in power will maintain their power. And so as the plebs, as the workers, as the lower class, the reality is we're always going to be in a constant war with the upper class. And it has nothing to realistically do with the ethnic backgrounds. Look at the Sunni and the Shiites in Iraq. Look at the different ethnicities in South Africa. I mean, I brought up Rwanda. What was going on in Rwanda was ethnic cleansing because two different groups couldn't coexist. The reality is we're tribal people. And I think that it does people on the right more benefit to focus on populism and inequality, just like people on the left are, because it buys you more favor than it is to focus on ethnic groups. I mean, look at the backlash when you have right-wing people who sit here and go 1352. I mean, actually 652, because it's only the men mostly, and black people cause all the crime. Great, wonderful. It's great to point that out. But what are the cultural drivers of that? Because it sure is not skin color. It's the culture that underlies it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can do my rendition of the Borat song if you want. That'll make people feel better. Look, Tony, if you want to make comments about me being touchy, you got to come on here and say it, or else just you don't get any respect.
And I mean, yeah. Come on, Tony. Get on here. Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I say, I think a lot of what's been going on in this country politically is about being divisive, and people that have similar long-term goals and expectations for where this country or their society should go should find ways to come together as opposed to find ways to push people away. And what I see Fuentes doing with his obsession with this, right-wing Jewish conspiracy thing even if he can sit there and say it's not all the Jews, is creating further separation between people that, you know, maybe staunch advocates for the, you know, perspectives, because Jews have seen what happens when you have a country that doesn't represent them. And again, like I say, in my mind, it's not about Jews or a religion or an ethnicity. It's about being part of the cultural elites.
And that's how the rich keep us down, because we are too stupid to realize they are all pointing fingers, blacks against Jews, whites, this, that. And you know what? At the end of the day, the color is green. And they keep us all fighting instead of all of us getting together and fighting them.
100%. Look, which Jewish people, Austin, should be disavowing the elites? What Jewish people do you run around seeing going, you know, yes, please, you know, Daddy Biden, do me harder, bro? I mean, it's the leftists that are saying things like that. I know many, many right-wing Jewish people that hate what's going on and would agree with everything I've just said. Look, I like instigating too. I've spent most of my day on another Discord channel instigating. Been having a lot of fun doing it. Been trolling people left and right.
Tony's always Tony loves to fucking instigate. If there's not turmoil going on somewhere, like he's not happy. He's got to be that agitator. I mean, I don't mind doing that too, but Tony's like a freaking expert at it, this shit.
But yeah, I mean, look, I'll give you an example of where Jews hold a lot of power in Hollywood and media. In the music industry, you want to know why they hold a lot of power in the music industry? Because a bunch of white racists wouldn't actually sign black people to contracts a ways back when, you know, R&B and hip hop and rap and whatever were starting to get popular. It doesn't surprise me that you have a lot of rappers that believe in, you know, Jewish conspiracies because they were screwed over by a bunch of wealthy Jews. Yeah, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 families. 5 families with a lot of, you know, control. Not everybody with the last name Epstein or Epstein is related to Jeffrey Epstein. But yeah, I mean, look, the reason that a lot of, you know, in those industries, there's a lot of companies that are controlled by Jews and run by Jews is because in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the only people who worked with black people were Jews because they were a minority just the same. I mean, Jews make up, here, I'll throw it out to the room, either on here or in stream. What percentage, without Googling, do you think Jews make up of the American population?
I haven't a clue.
Okay. Anybody in the chat have an idea? Come on. No, just pick a number. Okay.
I can't believe nobody's.
Austin said 7%. Anybody else have a thought, idea?
I would say 3.
Okay. 3. Kaya says 1. Yeah, it's somewhere between 1.5% and 2%. It's closer to 1.5%. But with the way that people talk about Jews, you'd think that they're, you know, a huge percentage of the population.
Mm-hmm.
But here, that's why it matters, Wasp. That's the point I'm trying to make. That, like, you know, if you want to talk about why people are succeeding in this country, you have to look at what makes for success. Graduating high school, not having kids out of wedlock, getting a job and building a, you know, income and things like that. What are the populations that are succeeding doing that? The Asians as a whole in the United States are doing that.
I would disagree regarding, you know, what makes a person successful.
I mean, that's what the statistics show.
One of the things that you jumped right to was graduating high school and, you know, college. And there's, you know, my son didn't graduate high school and he makes more money than most people that I personally know. So, I mean, I think that, and I'm going to tell you straight out that I believe that our education system has been pushed down people's throat to the point Well, I don't think they're getting the education that they used to get. I think it's way overrated now. And so I don't think that makes or breaks people anymore like it used to when there was a true education that stood behind it. I think there's a lot of politics and bullshit that stand behind it more than actual education where anybody learns anything from. I mean, my husband can tell you that he got out of AMP school and he didn't know a fucking thing when he went to work for an airline. It was after being there for about 3 or 4 years when he actually learned how to work on an airplane. So, and all that education didn't teach him shit.
So I don't disagree with that. A lot of education today is just credentialism, but a lot of education is also in wasted places, like gender studies degrees and
I agree.
history degrees and things like that.
Right.
I've talked to my younger siblings a lot about this and students that I've mentored over the years. And, if you know what you want to do with yourself, then going to school, if there's a credential that you need, is of value. But if you're interested in, like, I don't know, being a journalist, just go do journalism. Don't get a degree. Go make YouTube videos, start a Substack, do things that build up a backlog, a portfolio. If you want to, be a screenwriter, go start writing things. There's so much technology in your hands. Make movies with your friends or whatever. And that's how, like, there's this horror movie that's coming out next month that's gotten really good, like, preview reviews. And it's by a bunch of guys who had a YouTube channel. They were making short horror movies on YouTube, and their channel got yeeted because YouTube decided it wasn't kid friendly. Some producers from Hollywood saw it and gave them a few $1,000,000 to make a movie. I think it's going to kill it in the box office when it comes out. It's let me see what it's called.
Yeah, but Donna brings up a good point that it's a work ethic also. Yes, go to college if you need the credentials and stuff like that. But what purpose do you have? Get out of bed. You're 23 years old and, you don't even have a job yet. That's what's going around now.
But when you go to college, you got a huge bill that follows that. And so you have to pay back all that shit. I mean, I knew a doctor in Idaho once that he had been working for, I want to say he had already been in like 10, 11 years, and he was still paying off loans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it depends on what you do. I've got all my loans paid off, but I specifically chose to get a degree that I knew I'd be able to pay them off in a timely manner.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm a PA. That's one of the big reasons I'm a PA and not a doctor.
Right. So but I think that a lot of, if you look at a lot of, kids that are going to college and what they're paying out in education, it is a huge bill. And not that I think that we should be the ones paying for that shit, because I don't think that's the case. But I think that, again, I'm going to reflect right back on the whole thing that I do believe that it's highly overrated anymore. They're going to have to change a whole hell of a lot to make me see that differently.
No, and also if you're getting, a grant, whether it's state or federal grant, and they give you money, you can't then buy a car or go to Europe on it. That's so you pay for your books and your classes. Like you just give an 18-year-old, oh, here's $5,000 with no, amendment to that. Like, this is for your books. This is for your housing, not for you to go to Europe and party with your friends. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying there's so much greed and stuff going on with the colleges. It blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because people aren't going to school for an education. They're going to school for a cultural experience. So, like I was saying, I've encouraged my younger siblings, if they don't really know what they want to do with themselves and they don't have a specific education that they need, they should go work. And if all they want to do is party, they can work a part-time job, find some roommates to live with, and party all they want. It's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But investing in nothing without a plan is a bad idea.
Yes.
That's a caveat to what I was saying before about getting education. And look, there's a lot of ways that people can get jobs and do things with themselves that earn a living that don't revolve around education. I just think at the end of the day, so much, like you said, of like Donna said, it's about work ethic, and that comes from the home. It doesn't come from society. It doesn't come
right.
from
No,
those,
it comes from the home.
in government. Maybe I'm a little too cynical about government, but I don't think government should exist or does exist to provide, cultural drivers to people. That comes from your parents, the people around you, as you grow up, and that's ingrained long before government has significant interventions or interaction with a person. What government exists to do is to protect basic rights and to navigate interpersonal issues that go beyond, communal problems.
Work ethic starts when your baby's little and you set the toy out in front of him and you don't just hand him the toy so that he goes for the toy. That work ethic starts literally when they're that young, and it just goes from there. I mean, you continue to teach your kids to have good work ethics. And if you don't, one of the big things that we are with our kids was they didn't get to be quitters, regardless of. And when I say that, I say with Sean and not graduating, he didn't graduate, but here's the deal. He wasn't allowed. He went all through all 12 years of high school, and he missed it by a half a credit, just like with Kayla and the whole. So there's some issues there with that whole thing and how the education system wanted to help, and in the process they set you up to fail, and that's kind of that's why I have such a bitter thing with the education system that we have. I think it's worthless. I think it needs to be completely crushed, and I think it needs to be done over, just like all the other things that government has their hands in.
And the movie I was talking about is called Talk to Me. If anybody's a horror movie fan and interested.
Talk to me.
Talk to Me.
Oh, talk to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I read a book a ways back that talked about how I can't remember who it was written by, but the most valuable skill a person can train into themselves is grit. The ability to, push on, to overcome, and commit to things. A lot of people don't have that drive.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's definitely it's a huge struggle. I mean, we watched the difference in how our kids were raised versus how some other kids in our family were raised, and education was jammed down their throat, and one of them, I mean, a lot of money was put out in college education, and then they dropped out and walked away from it and didn't get anything from it, and ended up becoming somebody who built houses, which he could have done with no education. And then the other one, well, we're talking, they're going on about 7 years of schooling and have never basically made more than minimum wage. So I got a huge frustration with that whole thing of pushing it to the point where nothing gets accomplished. I mean, none of these kids made accomplishments by doing this. Yes, I have seen kids that have made accomplishments by going to school and getting their education. But I still say that it's so overrated at this point. My whole deal now is it's all about the grooming instead of about actual education, that I think they're totally missing it. They'll, I would be afraid. I'm afraid to go literally to a hospital because of how I think it's all been done. How from their education to what they've been trained for the last, or what's been poured down their throats for the last 3 years since, the big bad C hit. And I don't understand how all the rules changed, like the deal with masks. How did I spend 25 years in the medical world and believed one thing regarding mask and was trained regarding mask one way, and then as soon as the big C hit, that was, I mean, all that shit went right out the window, and you should just wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think a lot of it was knee-jerk reacting, just like with the trans thing. People wanted to say that they were doing something when they felt powerless. I realized, even without necessarily knowing if masks were effective or not, which we now know they were pretty ineffective. The reality is that I noticed very early on when they were giving us N95 masks and saying, "Oh, this is good for a week," even though the manufacturer and the FDA only rate it for 4 hours of continuous use before the moisture in your breath makes it too porous, that there was no reason for me to continue to wear it if it was accomplishing nothing. So, within probably a month of COVID starting, I was one of the few people in my hospital that was, or at least my ER, I shouldn't say the whole hospital, I don't know, but I was one of the few people in the ER that was willing to go into patient rooms and see patients without a mask on. And they got upset at me. And so I would go in and start coding patients wearing a, surgical mask to make the management happy, while everybody else was spending 10 minutes putting on full PAPR gear. When, let's be honest, if you don't go in and start chest compressions on somebody that's heart has stopped and wait 10 minutes because you're so worried about yourself, they're going to be dead by the time you get there.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy who's a diabetic, type 1 diabetic, we were the two running into rooms, starting chest compressions and saying, you know what, fuck it. If I get exposed, I get exposed. It's part of the job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of questionable things, like the whole thing about how, if you get vaccinated, you're going to be better protected than if you actually get the virus. That does not make any sense with any medical or scientific knowledge we've ever had before. And yet people ate that shit up like it was candy.
Yep. I've never ate that shit up to begin with. Being in the medical field all those years, they would say, "We need you to take a flu shot." I said, "I need you to mind your fucking business, because it's none of your business whether I take a flu shot or not. That is my medical fucking file. It's none of your business. You are my employer. I don't care that I work in the medical field. I don't care. You do not get to say what I take and what I don't take." I always refused. And I'm telling you what, I butted heads with a lot of bosses. A lot. I don't care.
Yeah, one of the arguments I was having earlier today with somebody was they were basically saying that if someone didn't have a vaccine, that nobody should have been forced to get a vaccine, but if they didn't get a vaccine, they should have been denied medical care. And that just pisses me off to no end. You know what? I didn't go into medicine to be used as a tool against people who won't do what a regime wants. I went into medicine to help people and to take care of patients. And at the end of the day, I knew that I was putting myself at risk when I went into healthcare. It was never something that I didn't, expect to be something that could happen. Fine. We didn't all expect a pandemic to occur, but you know what? It is what it is. I chose to start down this path for myself. I took a Hippocratic oath and I will follow it through to the end. That's being a principled person.
Here in New York, it was horrible. I did get the first shot, and the only reason I did it is because this was my choice. My best friend of over 50 something years, I mean, we grew up since we were little, was dying of cancer. And she did die within the week. And the thing was, you can't see her unless you get the shot, unless you have your card. So I had to choose between not holding my best friend's hand and getting the shot. And I swore that the government would never do that to me again. I'm sorry, got emotional.
Yeah.
But I swear, I haven't gotten the flu shot. No shot. My doctor is screaming at me. You haven't got the flu shot. Too bad. Nobody's sticking me with anything anymore. I will never go through what I went through like that. That was the choice. That the hospital, like you say, the medical profession, what happened to do no harm? So you're going to deny this woman having the right of having her family around her?
Well, here's what I don't understand. So there were so many nurses that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Narcissistic nurses.
What there were so many, I have nurses in my family and all of that. And so even the nurses in my family were like, you need to, do you understand? You need to take this, and it could save you guys, and da 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 da. And then, of course, when we got down to the nitty gritty and we actually started talking about the facts, and was it really going to help? And when we got down to all that, and then we started talking about all that, none of them could back up what they were saying, except with what was splattered all over the news. It wasn't really what they truly believed. I mean, me and my cousin, we actually got into kind of a big argument about it. And I said, I think you're full of shit. I think that, there is you should be standing up for the patients and saying, no, you should not be forcing people to take something that you don't even know if it's going to help. And it could very well be more damaged than good. So that was what pissed me off about the people that I knew in the medical field, and how they weren't standing up for what they really knew. I mean, and even a lot of them would say, well, yeah, I know it's probably not, we don't really know whether this is going to help, but we're still giving the shots out. And there's no way there's no fucking way in hell I'd have gave a shot out. I'd have said, no, I'm not giving it. I don't give a shit. I don't believe in it. I think you're going to kill these people, and I'm not going to be part of that. No, I'm not giving them the juice.
Yeah, no, I got the first vaccine because they made me for work, and I have chosen not to get any since. I get a lot of crap from my coworkers constantly each time a new vaccine.
Oh, I'm the same. I got the first, and that was it. Just the first. I got in to see my friend, and that was it. And I get a lot of crap from people around me.
I'm a pure blood. Thank you very much. And I like it that way. I don't
Yeah.
care. We had a friend that he literally took the shot so he could travel. I said, you are out of your rabbit ass mind. No.
I wouldn't have gotten it if I didn't have to, if I could have gotten a way out of it somehow, but they were not giving exemptions when it first started, and I kind of needed my job. I wasn't getting any of those, checks or anything.
Oh, when it first started, I mean, they did not want my husband, who works for the airline, they did not want to give him the religious exemption. I didn't really want him to do it that way. I wanted him to go about it and just stand up and say, no, I refuse. But he went ahead and did a religious exemption, but he stood firm and refused to take it. And I mean, to tell you, there was a lot of people pissed off at him. And let me just tell you that a bunch of those people that did, 3 of them specifically have heart problems now.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot
I didn't have a choice. I couldn't get a religious exemption because with no shot, I wouldn't have been able to see my friend. So, but then New York was going crazy. Like, you couldn't go into a restaurant unless you showed your ID that you got the shot. I didn't go anywhere. I have to prove that I have a shot. I stayed. If I couldn't get there walking or anything else like that, I didn't go into any restaurants, coffee shops. I was not going to prove that I had a shot, even though I had it. And I was like, no, I'm done.
I went everywhere. For a while, I wore the mask. But we went everywhere. They were like, you need to stay home. I'm like, fuck off. We're going to hike everywhere. Kiss my ass. And we did. We hiked. We did everything. We went into other counties. We did all the things they told us not to. Yep. And I'm going to do it again. I truly believe that it was all a bunch of bullshit. Flu took out way more people than the supposed C did. So I think it was all a big fucking bunch of bullshit. I think they diagnosed people. They were totally misdiagnosed 9 times out of 10.
Yes.
I truly believe that. I mean, I think it was all a big farce of bullshit.
Well, the testing mechanism that they built is not really accurate for testing for COVID.
No.
Or testing in general. PCR is a very valuable tool. It's not a testing mechanism. All it tells you is that you have some viral DNA there. Doesn't mean anything. has no bearing on your actual clinical course or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate people were willing to give so much to the government for so little.
Nope, I wouldn't.
Really bothers me that we live in this like technocracy or whatever, where all these YouTube and Twitter and all these different places basically shut down any response or any countervailing beliefs or evidence.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Twitter, I hate Twitter. I got an account. I did one under Gutters Pub, the whole thing. I fucking hate Twitter. I don't like that I can't directly bully somebody back. I need to figure this shit out because it's really pissing me off. And you, Tony, are a fucking traitor because you should have already sent me memes regarding fucking DeSanctimonious, and you still haven't. And
So-
I need those memes, you bitch.
Are you looking for memes that say that he's like bad or that say that he's good?
Yes. And I know Tony's got them all in his fucking little head over there, but he will not release the memes to me. And he said what did he say? Oh, he didn't want anything to do with that. And I said he had no balls.
Oh, but if SC asked for it, he would have given it to
I
him.
know, because he licks the sweat off of SC's balls. Don't you, Tony? You do. You like the little dribbling sweat drops. We know.
Oh yeah. Side note, but Mick remind me. Yeah, so I've been following some data throughout all this, looking at the COVID spike protein, and that was like the worst thing they could have built a vaccine against. So spike protein actually seems to mediate a lot of inflammation and scarring, specifically to the heart and the blood vessels. Yeah, so it's not surprising to me that people are having a lot of cardiac problems after getting the vaccine.
Well, I watched this, I don't know what it was, whether it was TikTok or it was a video anyway. And it was about a woman that she was talking with another woman who works for Kaiser, and she works in the lab. And she said they were talking about when they're doing the lab work, how they're having to they have to clean the clots out to actually be able to do the tests. Well, that seems like you just fucked the test up at that point, didn't you? When you're taking stuff out. I mean, something tells me if you've got to take blood clots out, like she's saying they're having to take more and more blood clots out to be able to perform the test. Like it didn't used to be like that.
Mm-hmm. Like it's hemolyzing or something.
Mm-hmm. And I also watched the thing where a mortician's funeral directors. Yeah. And where they talked about, those big, and they didn't look like clots. I mean, if you looked at them and they rinsed them off, you could see it was like a white cartilage almost.
It's scar tissue, essentially. It's a fibrin complex.
Yeah, like fibrous and really trippy shit. Tell you what, it freaks me out. Ah.
Yep. I mean, look, data still suggests that if you're like, 65 and over and have multiple comorbid conditions, you're better off getting the vaccine than you are, getting COVID. But for everybody under that age, unless you got some real serious problems from a health standpoint,
but how does that make sense, Harvey? If they're finding more heart conditions with it, how would that make sense? Here, old person, let me give you something.
The theory is that in the elderly population, you have less reaction because the immune system isn't as functional to the spike protein itself. But people are still, if you have, like I said, the data shows if you have a kidney problem, are obese, have a heart problem, and are over 65 or 70, you have a much higher risk of dying of COVID than you do of having a adverse event, or having a heart attack within a reasonable amount of time after getting the vaccine. I mean, I'm not medical advice. Like, talk to your doctor.
Yeah, I was gonna just say, this channel is not giving out any medical advice. Anything that you hear on this channel is not medical advice. One strike is enough for me. I already get it. We're just discussing some opinions. Nobody say no medical advice anywhere.
I only give medical advice when I'm at work.
There you go.
Because I'm not covered under any liability insurance right now. And I don't know anything about the people I'm talking to.
Exactly.
I don't want to lose my license, state. Leave me alone.
Thank you very much. And his
yeah,
name's Arby. Go ahead. Try to look him up.
Yes, I'm a little anthropomorphic meat boy. Exactly.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, there has been a higher rate of sudden cardiac death amongst young, healthy athletes and things like that compared to previous. I don't know. Sketchy stuff, if you ask me.
Yeah, I recommended that my mother-in-law not, and I'm so glad that she hasn't. Even though we don't necessarily like each other, I don't want anything bad to happen to my grandkids' grandma or my mom's mother, and so I'm glad that she did not, and I think it has served her well. It's not like she goes very many places anyway, so she's, most old people hang out at home. They don't go a lot of places. So, and I got to tell you, I've seen a lot of residents take flu shots and end up sick as hell afterwards. And I just kept thinking, how many times are they going to do that before they go, what if there's a correlation there?
I don't know why the hell they would stick people with COVID into nursing homes.
I don't get it either.
Made no sense.
Yeah, I don't. I'm so glad that I did not work in a facility when that shit broke loose, because that would have been, I lost many jobs over residents standing up for their rights and saying, I don't give a shit. You can fire me right fucking here now. I don't care. You're not going to be mean to a resident as long as I'm here. If I see something going down, my ass is on. I was terrible. I'd come home, look at Marvin and go, well, he'd go, fuck. You lost your job, didn't you? I'm like, well, yeah, maybe. I only got fired once, but I walked out of many jobs if they would not take care of the residents correctly. I just couldn't stand it. I can't. Don't be mean to fucking babies or old people, or I will have, or animals. I don't want you to be mean to them either, even though I don't want them in my house. The animals.
We were talking about Twitter. Did you see this tweet from a bunch of people, including Ilhan Omar, about how we just broke the record for the hottest day in 120,000 years? Did you see that idiocy?
I didn't see it.
Yeah. They claim that 3 times now this year we've hit the hottest day in 120,000 years. And I don't think they realize that Earth has been a lot hotter before. I was going to say community notes or whatever. I love when they come in and slam these people. Somebody came in, community noted her and posted all the historic data and was like, "Yeah, this ain't true."
I gotta say, back to the whole thing with Austin makes a really good point. Remember seeing all the people dropping in China at the start? Remember, they showed all these people just dropping, boom, they were down. I never seen that scary here. I never seen anybody drop like that here.
No, I never saw it.
Until after the vaccines to the athletes. That's a good point. Oh. See? Again, it's just all of our opinions.
On that note, I gotta hop off but I'll keep listening.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for coming on, Nun.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bobby was here in his bar scene and then he left.
Well, I'm not that exciting. What can I say? No bar here. Just me and the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. No bar here, just me and my water that I'm gonna have to go get more here in a second because I'm about out. I couldn't watch him.
You see any of the memes I posted of the new Snow White they're making?
I didn't. I don't know. Where'd you post it at?
You can click. I put some in my little channel.
Oh.
I put some inappropriate things too. So not terrible. Just some trans stuff. No, so they're making this new Snow White movie. You know, I've been going hard on all these like Disney live action remakes and whatnot. And they decided they can't have I think I put it in general too. Some stuff or in Tony's spot. But they there were some set photos and video that leaked from the live action remake they're doing of Snow White. It's ironic. Snow White is like the original Disney animated movie that really did well for them and, you know, built up their whole animation studio. So because they, you know, don't want to be offensive and have a bunch of dwarves, you know, can't have 7 dwarves. They're the 7, like, you know, little 7 mythical creatures.
And the 7 magical, diverse, gender non-conforming, vertically challenged creatures.
Yeah, they have one actual little person, and the rest of them are just like a mix of people. And the other thing that's hilarious to me is they cast somebody who, you know, Snow White in the story is basically described as an albino. She's white as snow. She has black hair. Well, I guess she's not really an albino, but she's got dark black hair, white as snow, and red lips or whatever. They cast the like half Colombian girl who may be a great actress. I don't know. I haven't seen her in anything. But she ain't Snow White. So I've been enjoying the whole Off-White joke that people are making about it. She's Off-White instead of Snow White.
We're going to share it here.
Yeah. Oh, she was in West Side Story and played a character in Shazam.
And the Off-White and the 7 pronouns.
Yeah, I'm just so amused by Disney's, like, you know, corporate seppuku or whatever you call it. You know, like they're just like stabbing themselves and killing themselves.
It is amazing.
So funny
I can't believe Bud Light, and I mean, I do think that like with Bud Light, it's almost like their hands were tied and they felt like they just had to do it. And then once they did it, they were like, shit, we were gone either way. Like, whether if we didn't do it, you know, the SGC, whatever that fucking score bullshit was going to take us out.
ESG.
And if we did do it, then the public was going to take us out.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, companies are going to start running from this stuff if people continue to push back. I mean, call it the Bud Light effect or whatever. But,
yeah,
you know, like I've been showing with the box office stuff I've been posting, box office is hurting hard. A lot of these, you know, things. People have lost interest, don't care, just aren't motivated anymore because the companies have decided instead of creating good stories and telling interesting things that, you know, everything needs to have an agenda. You know, you look at Star Wars, the Force is female. You look at like Phase 4 of and Phase 5 or whatever of the Marvel stuff. It's all gender focused and you know, identity focused. You look at like the new animated movies that Disney has put out under Pixar themselves or their own animation studio. And it's all this stuff focused on generational trauma and like, you know, young girls realizing that they always had the power inside them and they don't need to like work hard or improve. Even with their live action remakes, they're undermining the stories that existed in their animated movies that were empowering. So like, look at Mulan. Mulan was a movie about a girl who, you know, decides to pretend to be a boy for honor and things like that because she can't see her father go to war when he's an injured man. And, you know, she pretends to be a man wait, she's being trans. Ooh. But yeah, so she pretends to be a dude, and she's clearly weaker and not as skilled as everybody else, but she overcomes by using her intelligence and her ingenuity. That's what makes her a character that's valuable and interesting, and can connect not just with little girls and little boys, but parents too. And then they took her in this live action movie and decided to turn her into a Mary Sue, where she has essentially a Jedi powers and never has to work for anything, and it undermines it all. Or like the live action Little Mermaid they made, one of the real key elements of the Little Mermaid that people don't think about is how her father, King Triton, in the movie chooses to he's against everything about her and her interests, but ultimately at the end of the movie chooses to sacrifice himself to Ursula in exchange for his daughter. And that's a huge character moment and growth. And in the new movie, they turn it into a CGI, zapping battle where, he gets beaten by her because he's not powerful enough, basically, as opposed to giving him the real character moment that existed in the previous movies. So, not only are they race swapping and focusing on gender and gender identity and immutable characteristics, which pisses people off, but they're taking the wholesome things in these stories and writing them out to, service an agenda that nobody cares about or wants or is interested in as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think that most of the people don't want that shit. I mean, even though they're trying to, groom a lot of people into, or brainwash them into it. I still think that people are waking up and they're going, yeah, this is bullshit. No more. We're done. And I'm surprised at how, like, when I go for walks and I see, like, where there used to be pride flags or this, that, whatever, that whole bullshit. Even not just the pride flags, but the BLM flags and all of those have come down in people's yards. They're just like, you know what? We're done. This is, we tried to back you guys and look what you've done. I mean, we're done. So I'm hoping that more and more people are waking up, and I live in a pretty blue area. So, and I mean, when I say pretty, I don't mean pretty.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. Who really knows at the end of the day? It's going to be whatever it's going to be.
I know it.
Like I was saying with the political stuff, we're just little people. The only thing we can realistically do is, pay with our pocketbooks or vote with our pocketbooks. So if people, really
until we all come together. The day we all fucking get sick of it and come together and all hell breaks loose, they're all going to go, holy shit. Now we get it. Okay, they are a bunch of crazy fucking rednecks.
I mean, I'm cool with that. I don't mind being that person.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind at all. Hell. I kind of wear it pridefully.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, you have to, I think people are happier when they live honestly as opposed to living for other people.
Yep.
And I think it's a big driver of a lot of the mental health issues is kind of this focus on social media being the center of attention, but at the same time, not wanting to ostracize yourself or say something that's outside of the Overton window that's been created by, media and social media. Which, I mean, with all we've seen about the Twitter files and whatnot, we know that all that stuff is very much contrived and not, real. It's all being driven by, hey, I'll use Austin's thing here. It's being driven by the Jews. No, but it's being driven by, people that are in powerful positions that control, media and whatnot. I try to pretend I am, I just try to pretend to be smart. It's not really there.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. I don't know. Anybody else have something they want to talk about? I can talk about bullshit, but
Austin says you're pretty smart.
Yeah, that's what I was responding to. I was saying I pretend pretty well. Sorry,
see.
I watch like
Fly said the
the
juice. Oh, sure, Fly. I'm gonna have to delete this entire fucking stream. And we keep talking about the
What?
juice.
Look, apple juice, orange juice, cranberry juice. Those are your 3 options in
Yeah,
the
no
ER.
doubt. Right. So Austin, I'm kind of curious as to how you put your back out on the boat. I mean, it's not like it's that strenuous of a job. What? First of all, let's go back. Who was your passengers? Maybe we should get that out of the way first, because that might explain why your back is out of whack. Germans and juice. Fly.
He
It
he's
happens
just
on the
enjoying
boat.
his gin and
On the
juice, you
boat.
know.
So it sounds like you should have got. Well, no. What happened on the boat didn't stay on the boat because you got off the boat with a hurt back. So there's.
I just need to know if he has an STD. That's all. That's the most important part.
Will they make your back hurt?
Well, I mean, Mick gets what I'm going at, and I think Fly gets what I'm getting at here.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Well, that's why I said he should have had his back straightened out before he got off the boat.
Look,
If he did it right.
As long as it's a pleasurable cruise, it ain't my place to judge.
See, that's the attitude that we've got to stop, because this has gotten us where we are today. That whole thing ain't bothering me, so I'm okay with it. Well,
look, if you want things inserted in your butt, I have a nice hot poker and a chair with no hole in it. We can go medieval on you. It's not a problem.
That's right. We'll even put olive oil on it. He got his back blown out. Well, maybe.
Whatever. Tony's not here to defend himself. He was probably getting his blown out right next to him.
He said he either did it at lifting a floating mat where you should let them get off of it first, or swimming, or something odd. Oh, wait, what was the something odd? You told us about the floating mat and you told us about swimming. What's the something odd? That's what we want to know. That's the part you don't want to tell us about, right? You don't know how it happened. Wink, wink. I bet you do. Maybe a pinched nerve. A little spit. Oh, fucking Tony. David said he had an STD once.
Yeah, you know, when people admit to it once, they usually are not being honest.
That's right.
Like when somebody goes, "Oh yeah, I drink once or twice, on a weekend, maybe 1 or 2 drinks." You're like, "Yeah, you have a 6-pack every night when you get home."
It was like when my mom was sick and I'd take her to the doctor, and the doctor would say, "Are you getting any exercise?" And my mom would literally walk from like the couch to the bathroom and maybe to the kitchen sink, and she's like, yeah. And she couldn't talk. She had laryngitis for like 9 months before they diagnosed her with lung cancer and all this shit. So she told the doctor, I'm getting lots of exercise. She is a fucking liar. She is not. She's going from the couch to the bathroom to the fucking kitchen sink. And of course, the doctor just busted gut. He just laughing his ass off because I'd call Mama out on it every time. I never let her. She was like, "God damn it, Julianne." She gets pissed at me. It's funny.
Yeah, no, whatever, we all do it. I used to, like, when I used to smoke weed a lot, I would tell my doctor, "Oh yeah, I smoke like every, once, twice a month with some friends."
Yeah.
Like, no, let's be honest. I get home from work, and the first thing I do is light up a joint.
Fucking blaze it up, exactly. It's kind of like when the doctor would say, "How much do you smoke?" "Oh, half a pack of cigarettes." Yeah, only a half a pack of cigarettes. Oh, bullshit. Ain't nobody smokes half pack of cigarettes. Nobody.
In one sitting. That's what.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Fly says, how many beers have you had? 2 beers. And blows a 0.23. No shit.
Fly's been watching that police camera footage. There was one a few weeks.
David said no, he's being honest. He had chlamydia.
A little bit of the clap. Oh, poor baby.
Is that where they stick the Q-tip down the head of the penis to check it?
We
Is that
don't do
one?
that anymore most of the time. You can just do a urine test
God.
now.
See,
and
I think they
that's
should
a
do it just
situation-
because. I think they should do it because then you'd only have to do it once with them. Because trust me, from then on, they'd be like, "I need to see your clear of chlamydia fucking card before you jump on my stick."
Well, so this is one of those. This is one of those situations where PCR is valuable. So all you need is a single copy of that chlamydia DNA in the urine, and they can run PCR and multiply it and see that it's there. Because there should be no reason that a healthy person should have chlamydia or gonorrhea in their urine. So we don't need to stick Q-tips up urethras anymore. We can just.
I
run
think
it
you
off
guys
the
should
urine.
still do it.
I mean, look, I'm a sadistic motherfucker, so I'll do whatever you
Dude,
want. I don't care.
Yeah, call me Nurse Ratchet, especially for shit like that. I'd be like, well, still.
Look, Tony, if you need an exam anytime, I got you, buddy.
That's right. And I'll bring the Q-tips.
I used to when patients would come to the ER and refuse to saying they had a potential urine issue and they didn't want to give urine and they were clearly there just to hang out or whatever. I'd go in with a Foley catheter and be like, all right, I either need to see urine in the next 10 minutes or I'm getting it one way or another. I got a straight cath that is a big ass needle goes into your suprapubic area, or we got a Foley. Which one you want to do? And then they run off to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, either one is not pretty. You don't want to do it. It's a little on the traumatizing side. I'll never forget the resident who ripped the Foley out with the bubble still inflated.
I've seen that happen before.
Oh, mother of God.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that. The look on his face said it all. But let me tell you what. I don't think I ever got weak kneed before like I did that day. Oh my God. That was pretty brutal.
Yeah, I don't know. It used to always bother me when I'd be working with residents and then they're asking me questions on how to do stuff, and then 2 weeks later they've finished their residency and they're in a first year attending or whatever, and they're expecting me to answer to them. That used to piss me off so much in the ER.
Yeah, man. There was a few things just dealing with old people that got to me, and it wasn't many, but there was a few. That was one of them. The other one was the one where I had to. This woman, she was dying of cancer, and she had tumors all over her head, and it was awful. She had a hole on. She was about 78 pounds, sopping wet. And she had a hole about this big on her coccyx. And you'd have to put your hand all the way in there to get all the gauze and stuff out. And oh yeah, that was the worst. That was the worst. And then she was the one that I couldn't I learned the smell of chemo really good from that. And from then on, anytime anybody had chemo and I'd get around them, I could smell it on them.
Yeah. No, when you're going through chemo, you have a very specific taste in your mouth. That's when I got into drinking soda because I just couldn't stand the taste of the chemo. And unfortunately, diet soda, but unfortunately it's a habit I haven't been able to kick since.
Yeah, I definitely, I could walk in a room and go, yep, that one's had chemo, huh? I can smell it. I could just smell it immediately. And from then on, I don't know why. Before then, I never knew. Maybe it was a weird smell and I just didn't know what it was. But From then on, I knew what chemo smelled like once a person had, had chemo. I knew what it smelled like. It was, oh yeah, it was bad. And to this day, I can still, if I smell it, it's like, yep, I smell it. Somebody's just had chemo. Like just recently, I can smell it. It's like I don't know. There's a funk smell. It's not a burning smell, but it's damn close to a burning smell. And I can't get it out. As soon as I smell it, it's like immediately, it just wants to send that gag reflex up. And I don't have an easy gag reflex, but that's one I do. Ah. So yeah, Blunt Man's here. You showed up. Yay. You have some pills that make you float, Tony? Oh, you want some pills that make you float?
I'm not Willy Wonka, dude.
No shit. Anything but Xanax.
I'm sure if you live in any sort of city, if you walk out and head a few blocks over somewhere, you could probably get some decent fentanyl. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, take your chances, I guess.
I mean, I wouldn't suggest it, but it'll make you feel like you're floating for like 2.5 minutes until you crash.
Yeah. It'll be the last thing you feel. Open up the chocolate factory.
Oh no, Tony, you're opening the factory. I'm just coming to visit. I'm a giver, not a taker. I care about people. I just want to take care of them,
That's right. Yeah. He wants the hospital shit, he said.
Well, that 22 somebody. Oh no, that was a different conversation. I was talking to somebody about guns earlier, and we were talking about 22 caliber. But yeah, show up with some 22 having been used. Might have to call the cops, but I can get you the good shit then. Yeah, no, they've cracked down like crazy on prescribing since the whole opiate epidemic idea thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can definitely see why opiate's a huge issue. My God, the VA alone should be extremely responsible for addictions. Straight up.
There's an interesting Netflix dramatized documentary they did called The Pharmacist. If people haven't watched it, about the opiate epidemic, and kind of how it really broke open legally.
Yeah. I had a friend who she got meds through the vets, and they would send them to her. Well, she would bounce back and forth between being back east and being out here. And when she'd come from one to the other, she'd have to let them know that, hey, I'm back out in, Oregon, or hey, I'm back out in New Hampshire, or wherever the hell she was. Well, she was late telling them or whatever, and they sent her meds to New Hampshire, and she was headed out here to Oregon. So she called and told them. And she said, when they come in, do you want me to have my sister send them back to you? And they said, oh, no, don't worry about it. We'll just send you some in Oregon.
Sorry, off topic. But Fly, you're talking about the paraspinal muscles. That's what the muscles you're talking about are called. Not the intercostal muscles. Yeah, the paraspinal muscles run up, kind of just next to the vertebrae on either side. The intercostal muscles are in between the ribs themselves. So it kind of depends on the area you're talking about. But when you're talking about the trap region running along the spine vertically, my assumption would be you're talking about a paraspinal muscle. They're the muscles that kind of control the spine staying upright. Whereas the intercostal muscles are in between the ribs and control the ability for the chest wall to expand when the lungs expand when you breathe. Most of the time when people like pull their low back or, strain by the shoulders in the thoracic back, it's the paraspinal muscles that they've strained. But not medical advice, just an anatomy lesson.
That's right.
Tony will give you a nice massage and make you feel better. You just might have to give him some, I don't know, love in exchange or something. I'm not really sure.
KY jelly or something.
I can't follow on what his current needs are.
Well, there you guys got your little anatomy lesson. David says he bets he could gag who. I know I'm going back up the chat here, but who you gagging, David? Just don't tell people. Please do. I've pulled some weird muscles doing strange things. Like right in the middle of it.
It's a very good form of exercise. There's a reason that you don't see too many, like pole dancers and, escorts and whatnot that are overweight, unless that's what people are into.
Or pulled muscles. Well, maybe they have pulled muscles, but
I mean, I guess unless their great move is to starfish.
Tony, he's sick. He said David gags himself with a strap on.
I mean, he's not going to get chlamydia that way again, so.
Sure. Well, I guess it depends on where he's had the strap on.
Plastic bleaches. I assume it's a silicone strap on. Got to try and simulate that real life thing. See, you talked about having more women here, but I feel like this conversation is a very masculine-oriented conversation right now.
Somebody's come in named Nobody. Who's Nobody? Now I'm curious.
They're nobody. I don't know why you're even...
Well, God, now I got to know you can't do that to me. They said nobody.
I think they're Clint Eastwood from, what is that, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly?
Yeah, it looks like it. Duh. Okay, who is this? It's got to be somebody we know. Pull up motion.
Yeah. Years ago, I used to game with somebody who used a similar name, but I don't think that this is the place for them. We became unfriends because I made a comment about trans people, and I think they took it to heart.
Uh-oh.
I don't think they'd come to visit.
Well, if they did, they're probably going to get their whatever's transplanted hurt. You got to lay in an ice bath, Pie?
Sorry, I'm gonna have to cut out and get going.
Okay.
Get ready to, for work tomorrow. Take who out for a little walk.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm glad you came on, and you have a great night and a good week.
I'll be listening and be in chat, but I'm gonna hop off.
All righty. Well, we'll talk to you later. Thanks for coming.
I'm gonna tap Tony in, even though he's not gonna come.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Tap him in. Let's see if he can come.
Him and Fly. Yep, you guys are up.
That's right, one of them.
But yeah, you have a good night. It was nice
catching
up Take care.
Good night, Arby. Well, we have been going for 2 hours and 23 minutes. Woohoo. And I guess Fly thinks he's going to pull his back muscle again if he talks on live. It's been a few days ago. Oh, it's Rowdy. Hi, Rowdy. Why'd you change your name? Why are you creeping out on us? Damn, I was just about to ask the weirdest things people have put up their ass. Well, why didn't you ask? Oh, because you were going to ask Arby. I see. I'll post a pic on Discord, man. Oh, geez. Sorry, I'm such a visual. Now I'm scared. You say spaghetti Western movie? That makes me crave spaghetti. And I seen a really cool way that I can make spaghetti the other day. I would think I want to try it. It includes baking it. My mom would have a shit fit, but I think it'll be good. So yeah. Anyways, we've talked about lots. I'm probably gonna have to delete this stream, or at least cut up the part about the whole C thing, because heaven forbid. I mean, I guess the strike wouldn't be that bad, but it would be 2 weeks off of here, and then and it gets really fishy. Ew, SpaghettiOs, yuck. I can smell that nasty smell from here. Rakita went over a story where someone was penetrated by a vibrating butt plug when they went into an MRI. Yeah, you are wicked late, Nissy. How are you, darling? I bet you've had a few things up your ass. Oh my gosh. I'm glad you shut up though, miss. Since you're probably not going to get to see all of this, because I'm going to have to edit a bunch of it or delete it, one of the two. Somebody was asking if you moved to Florida, because we haven't seen you much. Sorry. The guy claimed he fell on a remote. You're right. I always worried skiing, man, I'd end up with something up my ass or something. I do have Rumble, but if I let it wait till it overloads on Rumble, then I could end up with a strike on YouTube before that happens. So I always worry about like letting it wait to go to Rumble. It'd be nice if it just went over there. I don't know why the fuck it's got to wait. Most likely in the fall. It's fucking hot as hell down there. Right? Turkey baster, among some other things. All right. Well, my water's gone, which I've been a very good girl. I drink mass amounts of it now, and I swear I'm more cotton mouth than ever with drinking all the water I drink now. But I can at least get up and move around without feeling like I want to die. So that's always good. Water, because I had a kidney infection last week. I thought I was gonna die, but I'm better now. 50 Shades of Mick. I've never actually read the book or watched that whole thing. I think I watched part of it with Marvin, and it was like, yeah, this is fucking boring. I'd rather watch Pretty Woman or something. But anyways, it's better. I'm way better than I was. Holy moly. I don't know if you'll be able to catch it on Rumble. I'll debate whether I need to. Maybe I'll chance it and leave it till it goes to Rumble. And then edit out part of what I want to leave on YouTube. Or edit out the part I don't want to put on YouTube. Which is regarding the whole C thing, Just our discussion. There was no medical advice, but, our opinion for some reason fucking pisses them off. I'm so glad you came, Donna. Thank you very much, ma'am. Oh, it was not a remote. If you look at the top portion of the object, it fairly clearly has a rotary motor. Ow! Ah, that was probably very painful. What the hell? I don't get it. So I told Andy I was gonna restream his stream. Watch, let me see. Oh, he's already off. He's already off. I was gonna fuck with him and restream it for a minute. But that's okay. I should get off here and let all you good people find something to do with your lives so you're not stuck here with me. But I'm glad y'all came and hung out. And more of you could have came on. You've seen what I put it as. Still not quite sure how I'm going to do all this. I'm actually thinking about doing like spots for people. Like if somebody wants to come on, then I give them their little kind of like Bobby and his rant ticker. And then like do one for RB and one for, for whoever wants to come on and talk and be able to get their 2 cents in. I think that might be kind of cool. And then it might make it a little more organized. Who knows? It also might make you guys feel like it's, ownership for you guys. Maybe you guys could do lives then on here and wouldn't necessarily have to always be me doing them. Maybe. That could be cool. Just so we could keep it all going. Because like during the summer, I got to tell you, this is the worst part for me is trying to come in here and do these during the summer because I really have other shit I want to be doing. And I get in here at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and that's about when I have a million things that I really want to be doing. So, in the sense of outside where the weather's nice and it starts to cool down a little bit. And so, yeah, We might have to come up with something. Like, see, Missy could even have her own spot. Sugar Britches could have her own spot. Waspish could have her own spot. Bluntman could have his own spot. Flight Group, Bobby, everybody. All y'all. All ya. Mishka, Mick, everybody. Everybody. So, who knows? It might be cool. So, for you OGs, maybe we'll discuss it in the members only on Discord and kind of maybe go over it and see what y'all think about that idea. Because it might be kind of cool. It might keep it more interesting to where, you know, it's not just Gigi coming on and talking her foul mouth. So, you know, not that I know y'all love it, but some of you like edumacation. And, you know, if we mix it up with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and, I mean, we got way too smart of people on here for me to be sitting over here being the retard running the mouse. Anyways, okay, am I done mumbling? I think I'm ready to go. My segment would be Tony has no balls and won't get online. Change my mind. No shit. Maybe that will be one of your segments. You could do a boat segment on how to get your back out of alignment after having 17 gay guys on your boat. I'm just joking, Fly, but I just had to say that. Because you didn't come on, fucker. You could have came on. Sugar Britches, you have a lot of stuff. It doesn't matter, but I ain't fucking educated either. To hell. Missy, are you leaving us? Like, you just got here. You're just going to be the one to let us know you're out, huh? I'm sure glad you came, though. Come and hang out more. Thank you, Wasp. Thank you for your time and hanging with us. What would you come on? I'm so funny. You know I am. Oh, is it time to go? Flag says it's time to go. He's giving me the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, everybody's on down here long enough. All right. Who knows? Maybe y'all will want to go to Discord or something. You can go there and chit chat too. I may step in, but I think I need to get me some water and other shit. If you guys end up over there, because that's the only place we actually get to see hear Tony. Maybe we'll do that. So thank you all. And I'm not gonna do a song going out tonight. So Mick's starting the countdown. He's over there doing that. Everybody's ready to go. Keep going, Mick. Get her done. You're at 3. Hurry. You don't want to go? Ready to go. Okay. Well, and when Missy's like, fuck this. Thanks, everybody. Have a nice week, and thank you all for coming. Or at least smiling a lot. Bye now.